Well, firstly, I want to acknowledge that this event has come to a scale where it is New Zealand's most significant maritime environmental disaster. And while the lead is with the Maritime Transport and my colleague Stephen Joyce, as Minister for the Environment, I am here to ensure that the environmental dimension of this issue is managed as best as possible. It is my view that the tragic events that we are seeing unfolding were absolutely inevitable from the point where the Rena ran on to the reef in the early hours of Wednesday morning. I want to acknowledge that there is a very close level of cooperation between the key agencies, both in terms of the local regional council and the district council, Maritime New Zealand, the Defence Forces, as well as the other expertise that has been brought to deal with this huge event. I also want to welcome the huge interest both from iwi and from the Bay of Plenty community, and the number of people who feel so passionate about their beaches and their ocean environment, and the way that they have come forward in offering themselves as volunteers to deal with this huge job. I would want to emphasise that all of the expert advice is that this is not a sprint but a marathon, and we're going to need that level of cooperation from the community as we deal with this incident over the coming days and the coming weeks. Can I also reinforce the very strong advice that those well-meaning volunteers work through the proper channels so that it is a coordinated effort. Having people loosely on the beaches can actually be counterproductive in simply spreading the oil contamination rather than doing it in a professional way. We also need to make sure that the oil contamination that has already come to shore, as well as that which we are expecting, is not just collected but is disposed of professionally. And that is why we urge people to work through the coordinating agencies. Can I also say that the advice I'm receiving is that the amount of oil that's been released over the last 24 hours is fivefold what was released in the earlier periods, and that the situation over coming days from an environmental perspective is going to get significantly worse. Can I also say that every effort is going to ensure that those responsible for this incident are held to account. There are responsibilities through the Maritime Transport Authority. There are also those under the Resource Management Act. This government made legal changes to that act that have substantially increased the penalties. Officials are looking right now under that Resource Management Act for appropriate action to be taken to hold those responsible for this awful environmental tragedy to account under that Act, as well as under the Maritime Transport regulations. And that really brings my comments to a close. I'll be further participating and meeting with both the district and regional councils later this afternoon. We've met with iwi, we've had briefings from officials, we've pulled up crews doing some of the hard yards on the beach, and we'll also be attending with the local members of Parliament, Science Rivers and Tony Rowe, public. Thank you.